Okay, and welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time, Victoria 3, in the second run as the Great Qing in patch 1.7. This will be the last run in this patch when the major patch comes out 1.9. Basically wanted to set a baseline of how quickly I can get the GDP up and how high I can get the GDP as the Great Qing prior to the changes in patch 1.9. Because in the last one, we swapped to proportional taxation way too early. In this case, we waited until it was like a plus 200 on normal taxes swap. So you can see even now, right now we're on high taxes, so it's a little bit bigger. But we'd be losing almost like 350 pound sterling a month, or pound sterling a week. When we did the swap before, it was like that, but going to proportional taxation. So that was way too early to do it in practice. This time it's a little bit better. In this part, I believe it is time that we begin electrification. As tedious as it can be, electrification time. So we basically want to go state by state. Why can I swap this to the list? Is the list smaller? List is a little smaller, it'll be a little less scrolling. I tend to like this version a little bit better, personally, but for sort of micro that I'm about to do, this will be a little bit better. So electrifying requires 10 electricity per textile mill. We're going to start with the textile mills. Might not be the best one to start with, but that's what I'm going to start with. So, that means we're going to need 70 power. We've got one power plant that we're subsidizing, so it's working at full speed. Theory, that means we just need one more power plant there. So, Jiangxi, ready for electrification as soon as that's built. Shuangxi, 51 textile mills. We need 10 each, so we actually need 10 power plants here. And so on and so forth. That's what we're going to be doing for the moment, going through these one by one, bringing out how many plants we need to build to electrify it. And in this case, no textile manufacturers. No textile manufacturers. We have 6 here, so we'll want one more power plant. Fudran, 35 here, so we need 7 plus like 1 to provide electricity to the citizens. Beijing. Looks like it has no textile mills. Guangxi, 12 textile mills. So we can probably do like 2 and share the third one with the civilians. One thing to note, as we build more and more electrical power, the civilians are going to want more and more electrical power for themselves. As they start to use less coal and less wood, less fabric, less oil. So I do, even if it seems like, oh, you're more than double supplying the civilians, like, well, if I'm quadrupling the power available, the preference for the civilians to swap to electricity is going to go up. So they're going to want more power. So do want a little bit of surplus. Textile, we only want 1 here after the civilian 1. Strandao, Shandong, 52. So that's basically 10 plus the civilian 1. Beijing, no textile mill. On, no textile mill. Russian Guangxi, 7 textile mills. Sichuan, none. Western Hubei, none. Eastern Hubei, none. Jiangxi, none. Zhejiang, 8. So 1. North Anhui, 1. Zayan. None. Hubei. None. South Manchuria. None. East Guangdong. 41, so that's going to be what, like 8 power plants. Ningzhai. None. Yunnan. None. Anzhu. None. Yizhou. It's got one, it can work off the civilian one. In fact, that one we know is going to work off the civilian one, so we'll just electrify that one right away. Northern Manchuria, none. Formosa, none. Beijing, none. 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 Should be none the rest of the way down. Oh, you have one, though it's having worker hiring problems. And we got electricity here, so we can just electrify you anyway. So those guys will have a more productive job. They're not going to be very good at it because there's not enough of them, but they have a job. And I suppose we can see in a couple places we need another railway here. And then a railway there. And we got no people who work there, which is why the railway isn't making enough stuff. In fact, we already got a railway queued up there, so that's good. Okay, so we queued up like 45 power plants. That's a start. And then to go up behind those, we probably want... Well, we want some more rubber. We're about 15, 16 rubber plantations short. Now in this case, all the ones in our country are done. So we need 16 more, and they're going to come from abroad. But they might as well come from our subjects. So Mekong, we'll put full 8 there. 2 there, so that's 10. 16. We'll go a little bit higher because it is a foreign country and I don't know how productive it's going to be. Take it to 21. Okay. And I think that's all the rubber we actually need right now. Then it's probably going to be glass production. We got no glass in the queue, do we? Let's just double check that quickly. Yeah, no glass in the queue. So we want like 90 levels of glass domestically. And we got 1.8 there in Southern Manchuria. So let's flop 50 levels there. Eastern Guangdong as well. We'll do the 40 levels there. And then Southern Manchuria, we're going to need the railways to support that. So it's like 4 railways. Bureaucracy, population, cost benefit. Well, that actually probably saves a lot of bureaucracy. A not insignificant amount of bureaucracy. Spreading combustion engines next. We're gonna hold off on swapping over into combustion engines, even if it gets spread to us. Subjects having rebels. Deploy the red banner. Donation of knowledge. Annoyingly, with the early stages of electrification, we're probably not going to see the GDP rise very much. As the power plants fill up, because the power plants aren't very productive. In my experience. They provide a lot of good jobs, but they're not very productive otherwise. And we're currently subsidizing them, so right now it's actually going to steal from the budget rather than supply to the budget. Probably need more steel. Ooh, iron's actually quite profitable. So let's, we'll do like 10 lead mines. And then like 40 iron mines. 50 iron mines. Like, let's just fill up Southern Manchuria with iron mines. And then more railways in there. Okay, 1 week and all the power plants for the electrification will be done, so we can come ahead and we should just be able to slap that in with no complaints. Cool. We'll cycle a week, and then we'll move on to the next electrification project. We'll go 2. Doesn't make a big difference. The next electrification project is going to be coming through, and I think we're going to do the brine electrolysis for the explosives. Not that we need explosives right now, apparently. Yeah, apparently we have a surplus of explosives. I'm surprised we have a surplus of explosives. Although we're building a bunch of mines, so that will help with the explosives. Or the other alternative is we build up... No, I think we want to respond, want to electrify the urban centers last. Because they're not going to fill to full. Yeah, so the next one is explosives. How many explosive factories do we have? Locations do we have? 4, 5... Enough that we're going to want to go through and do it. Do it the other way. Okay. Back to the state menu. Zhangji, you've got explosives. No. Shangxi, we know has 22 explosive makers. Each explosive maker wants 20, so it's about 44. No, 440 power, which is about 9 power plants. So then on Wii, no explosives there. Anon, 17. So if you do like double 2, 34 divided by 5 is about 5. 5 power plants here. Chongqing. Explosive, 17, so that's another 5. Fujian. No explosives. Beijing, 6. So you're going to want like 2 power plants. Guangxi, none. Zhou, none. Shandong, 14, so like 7. Beijing, 2. Hunan. In fact, we're taking you apparently up to 21. Well, the civilian sector is taking you up to 21. 22 times 2 is 44 divided by 5, so about 9 here. Western, Guidong. No explosives. Western Hubei. No explosives. Sichuan. 10 explosives. So 4 power plants. Eastern Hubei. None. Jiaxing. None. Zhejiang. None. Northern Anhui. None. Xi'an. None. Hebei. 7, so we're going to like 3 there. Southern Manchuria has 6, so we're going to like 3 there. Eastern Guidong. None. Ganji, none. Yunnan. None. 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 So as we get closer to the bottom of the list, it's just more likely to be none. Well, there's 3. So, so those ones aren't apparently very profitable. So we'll just swap those ones over as is. You know what, that was 3, so they really want like 1. Look at the next one. Guessing none. Explosive factory, but you only got 1 explosive factory, so we can just tell that one here. Feel free to use brine explosive or brine processing. Okay, there we go. And we want those to probably finish sooner rather than later. So once again, we're going to do the everything that doesn't have any work on it. It's going to get postponed. Everything that's got work on it can stay near the top of the queue. Unification dockets in 5 months. Feel free to let them celebrate. Oof, those scholar officials looking real weak. Power block wise, could grab construction 3, which we're not really that interested in as a company. Or we can continue to save and do a major swap into something else. Subject wise, how controlled are our subjects? Could reduce subject payments here. That will give us some more downward pressure on them. Help us get them to stabilize quicker. We can offer to support the regime, though I think we are going to have legitimacy problems if we do that. Yeah, we'd have problems if we did that. And they're coming down. We can make Argentina a vassal, so we'll do that. Argentina's decently large. And the biggest thing making them a puppet is it delays Siam coming down, but Siam had a long way to come down anyway. Oh, and I think we decided as soon as identification documents are done, we're going to go back over and do electric railways. Give us some more stuff to electrify. Most notably electrifying the engines, which we need to put in the power plants. Bit of a circular production chain there. More taxation capacity, not bad. Electric railways. Yeah, and you can see that had a major and immediate effect on the balance. Okay, I think we're close enough to everything being built that we can come over here and say explosives, everyone on brine. Furniture factories may be next. Yeah, I think we're going to build furniture factories next. It's not a lot. But we can go ahead and build up like 20 more furniture factories. Most profitable place, apparently Hunan. So build 10 there. We'll build 10 each and be gone. Yeah, GDP hasn't been rising as rapidly. Well, at least it hasn't been feeling as rising as rapidly. I don't think it's necessarily an education problem. So we were subsidizing these rice farms. Are we still subsidizing them? We are. About to 40,000. Okay. But mostly for wages. By the looks of it, it's just the wages. Get them to stick around and not get fired from the place. Because we drove grain price down too much, obviously. Infamy generation against unrecognized power, so we can definitely be a whole lot more aggressive places now. Might be worth trying to push into Africa with that. Of course, some more markets into existence that way. Mostly engines. I don't think we need... Well, we can queue the rubber up anyway, so it's like another 10 rubber places. All. And then most profitable will probably be in our market. No, apparently Ivory... I believe Ivory Coast is French. So the French have a rubber shortage because they haven't been building their own rubber up. Chiang Mai... Cameroon? No. Those ones, just crank those ones out. There we go. Makes sense for the rubber. We were just building glass, but I think all the glass is done in the queue, pretty much. So it probably does make sense to queue even more glass up. Another 60 batches of glass. And then Jiangxi will want logistics to support that. And then we'll build some more transport, because apparently transport's pretty profitable. Various places, surprisingly. Once we get old age pensions, that's something we'll also do, is do a round of labor-saving PMs. Most notably the railroad-based ones. Nice combustion engine. We're going to mostly ignore combustion engine. We're not quite ready to swap to automobile production. We will be once we finish electrifying the engine and rails and that sort of stuff. But before that, it's kind of weird. It's in the wrong order, where we want to do electrification before we make petrol engines. And that also unlocks public carriages, which is something we'll probably do. Oh, we've got oil. That'll crush the oil price temporarily, but that'll be fine. What am I thinking of? Looking for, not finding. That's a good question. Oh, thinking about laws. Can I bring in the petit bourgeoisie and stable government? No. In fact, the only stable government we can have, contested government we can have, is with the scholar officials by themselves. So that is maybe an argument we do want to get around to the position where we can lower taxes. Grains just short of 2,000. You can see sort of the swing there with services. It is maybe at the point where we can contemplate getting off of the grain tax. Oh yeah. We could drop grain and replace it with clothes and groceries and just get a better return. So we will do that. Move grain, add clothes, early raise that, and the groceries are 300. It would still probably be worth dropping. Yeah, drop the tobacco tax, groceries. Best 100 is glass. Is luxury clothes are still better than that? Okay. 200. No, it's better to have transportation than to have glass and porcelain. Yeah, anyway. So I think that's the balance there. We are back in the green, so we're going to start contemplating trying to lower tax rate as growth continues. May even preemptively lower taxes at some point, just to try to stimulate consumer demand once the credit starts to decrease off. And we've just crossed 500 million GDP. And if anything, the thing I'm noticing is a lot of our prices are a little suppressed. Means we're probably actually growing out faster than consumer demand is rising. It's a little annoying when that happens. Do another round, a little bit on lead and iron. give something for everything to work on. So why we're waiting for electrification. We can at least try to meet the civilian demand if there's any civilian shortages. Civilian demand shortages. I see this list isn't filtering out foreign countries. That makes sense. Okay, we'll look at the place where we got bad negative balances. So that's on us. We'll do one there, we'll do one there. Okay, and that's basically the places. Do a couple more, call that good. The other one to look at would be to do rail as well, some sort of thought process. But I'm thinking the electrification will help a lot with that, so we're not going to worry too much about that. Oh, I think with after electric railways, we will take the dash down to central planning. Or, no, we want to do telephones then central planning. That way we can swap over to the telephone switchboards and probably just build up the taxation capacity. Okay, that's everything queued up. I'm still working on glass, so I don't really want to put more glass in the queue. And like 10 steel. Grain isn't the worst of choices. It's still 90 there, so I can put like 60 more here. So maybe we want to do it someplace else because this place is still being subsidized due to wage issues. Yeah, we're still subsidizing this one to the tune of like 40k due to wages. So pick a different farm province, probably best. What's the employment look like in here? Capacity for 3.4, 2 million in it. So yes, that's probably a good place to put farms. Maintain single crop. And these are 45 each. 45 each. So we were looking at doing like 60, so here it'd be like 120. So it'll be a little bit more conservative. We'll do 2 railroads and 50 and see where that leaves us. And then we'll wait for the glass to hire up. Should hire up. Yeah, porcelain's a little cheap. That's one of the reasons we never really swapped over to bone trainer, because we need the glass, we don't need the porcelain at the moment. For the moment. Like, that would be one thing to try exporting to the world. Who wants my porcelain? The world wants porcelain, yes. Come to China, buy the China. We do the same luxury furniture and clothes. This is something that'll be a lot easier to do in the next patch in 1.9. Because you won't do this. You'll just tell the game, hey, I want exporters here. And they'll export what's the best. So if you have a really cheap thing like extra clothes you want exported, you just build a lot of exporters and they'll move it for you. Instead of here where I've been ignoring it because it's tedious to do, and thus a very profitable export possibility has not been occurring. Yeah, well, let's see how that affects the economy going forward. As those routes expand. Potentially expand. Okay, we need new things to build. Well, that may be the problem. That may be the problem. I'm not sure we have anything that needs to be expanded. Guess we can do another round on the grain. Shaanxi, how did those wheat farm expansions kick in? They're kicking in. They haven't even finished. So maybe we don't want to do the grain, because that's not a good choice then. We could probably suppress coal prices. Build a bunch of coal. It is a consumer demand that is apparently in a lot of our country quite profitable to build. No, I don't really want to double play against Great Britain, thank you. Oh, and we've pissed off the petite bourgeoisie, so apparently we suddenly need a whole lot more government bureaucracy. About, let's say, 15 more government bureaucracy. To be fair, if we can get on to... At this point, old age pensions would actually probably increase significantly the demand in the nation by causing a standard of living increase in the poor. Confucians are up, but of course, Confucians are still Democrats, right? Could exile the dissident. That would piss the Confucians off. Though it might make the Confucians happier as well at the same time, just to be confusing. Yeah, so it'll be a little bit of a wash because they'll lose the autocracy malice. Yeah, I really want you to be anyone who isn't a Democrat, so we're gonna take the risk and just exile you. And we got someone who's neutral. Okay, I think we might be able to work with a neutral. Okay, so we'll bring you in. We'll drop the taxes 1 tier. Brings up to contested government again. And we'll start working on some laws. Like, we want healthcare. Who's opposed to healthcare? Well, no one not in government. Swap over to public. And then we'll try Social Security. Social Security's got a little bit more opposition. Okay, there's electric railways. We do want to electrify. But we got a little bit of bureaucracy problems. Let's try to break the bureaucracy problem first. Did this one not higher up? No, it did. Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought that would have been enough, but we'll do another 20 in the next place. Actually, no, not there. If we got enough taxation capacity there, we should not do there. Okay. And then we get on to electrification of everything. Okay, maybe calling it everything's a little excessive, but engines is here. So, Jiajing, you've got no engine makers. This is one of our major engine-making locations. Swapping engines to electrifying is 30 each. So that would just say that we want 30 more power plants here. So then on we want 3. None. Doesn't want any. Doesn't want any. Doesn't want any. Beijing's got 4. So what, that's like 3? We'll say 3. Shandong. And it's no engine makers. There's lots of other industries. Zhenzhou. None. Guangxi. 16. So you're gonna want like 6. 9. You're gonna want 9. Because it's like 3 times 3. Nanjing. Doesn't want any. Hunan. Doesn't want any. None there. None there. Did I just have less? We got a lot of engine places, but I don't have necessarily a lot of them spread out, I suppose. We might have stacked them pretty heavy. Okay, there's a couple really big places and there's a small number of small ones. That makes sense. So most of them are going to be empty, and there's going to be a big one. Every once in a while, there'll be like a small one. Like there's one that can just be swapped. There's a 50. So 50 is the other way around where we want like 30 power plants. So a lot of power plants there. There's a 50. Yeah, I think I hit them all. At this point, it might be quicker to go through, check the motor industries. So Yunnan has power plants queued. Shaanxi, I know, has queued. Daegu has a power plant, has a fairly low price, so we can actually just straight up electrify that one. Guangxi has the power plants queued. And then Anhui, I think has the power plants queued. Yeah. Northern Anhui has been electrified. Beijing, I think we queued the plants, or maybe missed Beijing. Did we miss Beijing? No, we queued it there. And Huaibei. Huaibei has been done. Okay. So then we just want that to finish, and then we can electrify that. Stand out. And then after that will be the railways. So let's... And he doesn't have any progress on it. Get delayed until after the power plants. Oops, maybe in fact gone too far. Power plants are most of the queue at this point, so it's easy to go too far. We'll do something like that. Start. Do those coal mines because they build pretty quickly. Yeah, that swap will help a lot with the engines. I'm going to need more lead apparently afterwards. So I'm at 20 more lead. Oh, at this point it might be just queue everything up for lead. We're getting pretty close to running out of supply. Or new lead in the domestic supply. And apparently that wasn't enough bureaucracy. So we need more bureaucracy. Oh, it might even be worth going up enough bureaucracy to get up to Home Affairs. Stable supply of power. Yeah, acquiesce to the demands. We do want public health care to get put through fairly quickly. Oh, and apparently we're so profitable now, revenue generation-wise, we can probably drop the taxes again. And then even then maybe thinking about further increases. Well, further declines in the tax rate or something, yeah. Oh, I suppose one place that's affecting our bureaucracy is the more we build, we're spending like 1 bureaucratic point per every building until it privatizes. Need more iron, probably need more lead. Oh no, we have the lead queued up, just hasn't been built yet. More paper? Yeah, more paper. 20, let's say 20 new things of paper. And we're up to 606 million, and still rising. As I say that, the next week is downward because markets are cyclical sometimes, apparently. And we're going to prove the poor YouTuber wrong. Public health care will also help a lot with fixing mortality and standard of living, and giving me something to do with the economy while we're waiting for the civilian economy to grow, which is build up bureaucracy. Okay, so all the power plants are built, so now we can come over here and click that button. Everything's now electrified. The next thing would be to go through, and it is time to electrify the rails, which will also be something that is pretty tedious. So, for the power plant, or for the rails, electrifying the rails is 10 each. So every 5 rails, we need 3 power plants. If you can do the math there. Because right now we're just doing the renewable power plant. The renewable power plants are 50 each level. 13 here. We have a little bit of surplus. But no, we'll do 3. 3 power plants to electrify those railways. 60 railways here. So that's 600 divided by 50 is 12 power plants. Shaanxi and its severe need for power. Who would have guessed the industrial capital of your country suddenly needs a lot of power? 8, so 2. Anon, 12, so we'll say 3. 2. 2, that's the railways. Still 2, but click on the right one. Beijing, 3. Shandong, 2. 1. 2. 3. 2. 2. Western Hubei, it's gonna be like 1. Sichuan. We'll go for the full 3. Eastern, 1. Xi. 1. Southern Manchuria. 4. Taipei. 3. We'll say 1 here. Eastern, 2. Niger. It's like 1. Yunnan. Needs like 1 just for the civilians, but in fact needs a lot. Are you not hired up all the way? You're not hired up all the way. So we'll just focus on getting what we need for the railway, which is another 3. The railway here is just fine as is. We'll just electrify it immediately. We'll want like 1, not 1 railway, 1 power plant. Where, let's scroll all the way. Again, this one's one where you just go ahead and electrify it right away. It's going to be more common as we get close to the bottom of the list. Formosa, electrify right away. Northern Manchuria, electrify right away. Inner Mongolia, electrify right away. Northern Helhong, electrify right away. How long? I think I left the last syllable off there. Hopefully that makes sense, even with the hunk of the syllable missing. Qing. Pegu. Pegu doesn't even have a railway. We'll give it a railway. And we'll say that railway can be electrified when it's done. Mandala. Got a railway, electrify it. No railway here. Here would probably actually benefit from having a railway, so we'll go ahead and queue 1. Go in that list. Here it is. The darkened text is a little hard to read, contrast-wise. Well, a little bit hard for me to read. You might not have any problems with it. Electric engines. Yeah, a lot of these low ones, because we put power plants everywhere. Just need to have the railway turned on or built. do electric. Well, this place doesn't even have the demand for the transport, so we're not going to bother here. You have a railway, which is why your transport demand is saturated. Kamchatka, electrify that railway. Electrify that one. And we can electrify that one. Okay, there we go. Oh, and let's just put those constructions to the top. So, in 22-ish weeks, we'll go just swap them all on. A few places won't have their power plant done, but they can just suffer. The railways power plant mix there is one I'm probably not too worried about. Screwing up the balance of the railways. As long as we got the big players at the top finished. And then once I've done this electrification of the railways, that's probably where I'm going to go ahead and put the power, or put the part brake in. And we'll see what sort of GDP we have at the end of the episode, which is coming up. I wouldn't mind, Deep bourgeoisie, that was a market liberal. Coming to power. Okay. Waiting for those to build. The main thrust of them should be done in, at this point, 6 weeks. Oh, and we're making money again on normal taxes. Interesting. We'll revisit the taxes if I remember at the beginning of next part. Either we're going to expand construction or we're going to drop some of the consumption taxes and swap over to decrees, I think. Humanitarian. If only I thought the literati were powerful enough to actually become a significant portion of government. Because as an autocratic monarchical form, we need to keep the scholar officials in government, and those two don't get along. Oh, the main thrust finished? Yeah, okay, so let's do the electrification of the railway. Yeah, a couple of places complaining that they're not profitable, but that's fine. And I suppose we'll electrify the sawmills at some point. Maybe do that in the beginning of next episode. We'll cycle a couple weeks to see the effects on our budget. Oh, and we got public health care. Okay. So, I think next time we're going to pick up with trying to complete public health care. Basically build up the bureaucracy to build up the public health care, the home affairs. And we're going to leave myself a reminder that we're going for old age pensions by initiating old age pensions and just not really doing much to it. But yeah, we need to build up bureaucracy. 50k bureaucracy required for just to meet the current requirements, and that's what we're going to be doing. We have a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of government taxation, working on telephones. After telephones, we're going to go for... Well, if I remember, we're going to go for central planning. But that will be next time. If you're watching on YouTube, forget whether or not an even or odd episode. I'm recording 2 episodes a day. If this is the second episode this day, there'll be more episodes up tomorrow. If this is the first episode this day, there'll probably be another episode up later in the day. Because currently the plan is I'm going to upload 2 a day until they're all up. I'm trying to get the game run completed before 1.9 comes out, which is my next Thursday, recording this on a Sunday. So I've got 3 more days to complete the run. We've got 31 years left in the run. Yeah, like 31 years left in the run. So that's believable. That's pretty plausible, especially when doing hour-long episodes like this one. If you're watching on Twitch, this is where the stream is going to end. I hope you've all been enjoying. Assuming nothing comes up, I'm going to record more tomorrow. Not sure. It's going to be in the break, probably between my lunch and dinner. So, until the next part, I wish all of you, whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, a good time and good luck. And with that, bye for now.